Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Dobson. Welcome to Fundraising is Dead, the podcast where we expose the fundraising system that's failing you and show you what actually works. Today's topic, stop thanking your donors. It's costing you money. I know that's a bold statement, but stick around. I think I have a pretty good case to be made. Do you know who Adam Savage is? Yes, the guy from Mythbusters. I like his YouTube channel Tested, and I watched a video recently where he lamented the discontinuation of his favorite Papermate mechanical pencil. He has about 7 million subscribers and got a pretty strong response. In a follow-up video, Adam said that many of his fans had sent him unopened boxes of his favorite pencil. He was greatly thankful for, but then he went on to absolutely gush over a letter and some pens and pencils from Pentel, a rival company to Papermate. I've got a link to this video on our website, fundraisingisdead.com, but Adam says something that's vitally important. He opens the video with, I cracked this box here, and I was like, I don't need to know much more about the people who sent this than the layout. He totally geeks out on this letter. He says there's a little car on the paperclip. He points out that this is all purposeful design. He says, look, everyone signed their name in a different color. And then he goes on to rave about Pentel while giving glowing reviews and showing off every single product Pentel sent. It was about 20 minutes. Why did he make that video? They didn't pay him to do it. They didn't ask him to do it. Adam made that video because they made him feel valued and heard and a part of their story. Every team member signed it in a different color ink. The note was personal. It referenced his past videos, his frustrations, his passions, and it wasn't mass produced. It wasn't thank you for your business. It was real. And guess what? That thoughtful note and that small gift led to Adam creating that reaction video seen by hundreds of thousands of potential customers. Pentel didn't pay a dime for that. I looked into the numbers. Those views equal more than $150,000 in earned media. That's revenue and brand awareness. That is development done right. By the way, it's not hard. Seriously, how hard was it to send Adam Savage a box of pens and pencils? It's super easy. It's not hard at all unless it never occurs to you. So why does this matter? This matters because the same principles apply to your donors. I said this last time. It bears repeating, so I'm going to say it again. It's from the Burke Institute on Fundraising. Their research shows that when a donor is properly thanked, that charity has an 85% chance of a second larger donation. If you're watching this or listening to this podcast, you probably work for a nonprofit. Ask yourself, what kind of thank yous are we sending out? Is it an automated thank you email? Is it a tax receipt? Is it maybe for a larger donation, a pre-printed postcard with a fake signature? Ask yourself, are those worth an 85% chance at a second higher donation? Do all your donors get the exact same thank you? Wouldn't that be something important to know? By the way, those aren't thank yous. Those are transactional receipts. If your nonprofit isn't growing year over year, again, you don't have a donor problem. You have a thank you problem. By the way, if you do run a nonprofit, if you're a president or CEO of a nonprofit and you find out that you're sending out tax receipts disguised as thank yous, don't get mad. And don't get mad at the people doing it. Everyone is doing it. If you donate, you know this. Don't get mad, just change. Show your gratitude, because either you don't know how to show your gratitude, or maybe the hard truth is maybe you aren't truly grateful. That maybe cross some lines. And I know it's upsetting to learn that your thank yous are turning away your donors, so this is going to be more upsetting, but it doesn't make what I'm going to say any less true. If your annual Christmas card is anywhere comparable to your thank yous, you should stop sending those too. I know that you think you have to, but it shows. Every year, as part of the year-end giving season, my mailbox is flooded with generic Christmas cards from nonprofits. They are totally thoughtless and totally forgettable. Generic holiday design, generic message, organization's name stamped at the bottom. I know this is sacred cow stuff. I know that I'm wading into deep taboo waters. And please tell me, who's going to notice if you don't send a generic, thoughtless Christmas card? I mean, it's costing you money, but more importantly, it's losing you donors. And I hate that. I hate seeing nonprofits lose money and they don't know why. If you're out there and you're struggling and you're trying and you just can't seem to plug the leak, I'm going to tell you why your Christmas card isn't just losing you money, it's losing you donors. Now, for your average low to mid cap donor, this is just wasting money. They probably won't notice. It's not doing any harm, but it definitely isn't doing any good. You do not build relationships with generic cards. If your grandma sent you a Christmas present, would you send her a generic pre-printed thank you? Of course not. You would call her, you pick up the phone, you go, Grandma, thank you. This means so much to me. If it would be embarrassing to send Grandma a generic card, then why are we sending out the same generic card to all our donors? When nonprofits send out robotic thank you emails instead of a real, personal, genuine show of gratitude, it's no different than when it's addressed to current resident. By the way, the for-profit company totally gets this. Amazon, Starbucks, Nordstrom's, you name it. They spend millions making sure customers feel valued because they know that customer retention is far, far cheaper than customer acquisition. But nonprofits, we do the opposite. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars hunting and chasing new donors while losing 70% of first-time givers. Donors aren't numbers. They are people, and people want to feel valued. Let's talk about your wealthiest donors and how they see it. I can talk about this with a lot of confidence. It makes me sound prideful. I don't mean it that way. I know how your wealthiest donors think. Throughout my life, I have spent countless hours of what I would call junk time with billionaires and multimillionaires. It's just how I grew up with the parents that I had and the size of their nonprofit and their ministry. I'm not talking about fun times, not just in meetings, but in real life, waiting in airports, waiting to get seated at a restaurant, downtime, in between time. Here's what I've learned. They notice everything. They don't think like average people. That's how they got to be where they are. They calculate not just the waste, but what that waste means. When a billionaire or millionaire sees a pointless, meaningless card or a generic thank you, they don't see it as a small expense. They see that organization isn't stewarding money wisely. And that thought, that's what stops future gifts. The ultra wealthy don't just glance at your thank you and move on. They think in depth. They look at the different angles. It's a reflex that's done without even consciously thinking about it. So let's talk numbers. This is how a billionaire or multimillionaire, this is what they see and think as they open up your generic card before throwing it away. A large nonprofit using a fulfillment service will spend around 50 cents per card. So if they send 1,000 cards, it's about $500. A smaller nonprofit doing it themselves easily could spend over $1,000. So let's say a $15 million a year organization wastes $5,000 on generic Christmas cards. That sounds like a small expense, but it's not. It's a credibility killer. When your wealthiest donors see your generic Christmas card, they see the layers. It's not just wasted money, but the wasted hours spent by the president signing them. And then they think the reevaluation, whether or not this is the best place for their giving. Here's the part that stings. They're probably never going to talk to you about it. Why risk an awkward conversation when they can just give their money to someone else? The bottom line, I'm sorry to say this, but your thank yous and your Christmas cards are costing you money and donors. Not because you're sending them out, not because they're expensive, it's because they're thoughtless. And your highest level donors don't just notice, they remember these things. So if you want a different result, you have to stop doing what everyone else is doing. And you can. You can do this, I promise. Okay, my dad is 89 years old. His VP of development is 83. But I see my dad regularly handwriting notes to donors. He has a special pen that he uses every single time he does it. Do you think his 83-year-old VP of development is a CRM tech wizard? No. Her name is Janan. She is an expert. She is an expert at making friends and expressing gratitude. This doesn't have to be a struggle. What if your donors didn't just give once, but became lifetime supporters? What if instead of shrinking and losing donors, you were growing year over year? If you want a thriving nonprofit, fix your gratitude, and I promise the fundraising will take care of itself. A true thank you doesn't just check a box. It expresses gratitude in a way that makes the donor feel seen. It acknowledges their impact, not just the gift. And it strengthens the relationship instead of making it feel transactional.